Hey everyone, it's great to see that we have a good number of people here today. Again, my name is Bobby Outston, Sales Engineer of Visual Planning, and I'm going to be conducting today's webinar. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce a few people. The first is going to be Brian Julot, our U.S. Marketing Coordinator. Hey Brian, you can go ahead and say hi now.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Thank you. And yeah, he'll be facilitating the questions and monitoring the chat during today's webinar. So as we move along, please type your questions in the chat and they'll be answered after the presentation is concluded. In addition to Brian, some of you may know the next person I'm going to introduce. His name is Adrian Trefidlo, our Lead Implementation Coordinator at Visual Planning. Adrian, you can go ahead and say hi now.
Hello everyone, this is Adrian.
Thanks, Adrian. And he'll be supporting me in answering any technical questions you may have at the end. So since most of you are familiar with Visual Planning, I will mostly be diving right into the added features, but I will be doing some basic scheduling just in case some people need to get up to date with that. And one more housekeeping note I'd like to add before we get into everything is if anyone has any questions on pricing for added configuration time, please contact your sales engineer after the call. All right, moving on. So like I said before, we're pretty much going to be going over mostly the new features available in Visual Planning 7, and that is going to be included in the client version, the portal version, and the VP Go version as well. For those that do not have a portal or a VP Go model, I'm going to be going over some basic scheduling capabilities in those models as well. And I'm going to try to save 20 minutes for Q&A at the end because I know you guys probably are going to have a lot of questions. All right. One more thing that I wanted to review here for VP7 upgrade. This morning, all regular cloud customers were upgraded automatically. If you are on a dedicated cloud server or if you're on premise, please contact your sales engineer to start the upgrade process if you have not done so already. All right. All right, so that concludes my few slides. There's a few more I'm going to cover after we complete the demo portion, but for now, I'm going to start it up here. So just give me one. All right, so I'm first going to start off from the login screen here because the login screen is new. So if I go to launch a planner here, you're going to see it load up. And we have this beautiful display here where you can also set custom pictures, but there are a bunch of stock photos as well that you can have here for your background. So I'm not going to log in here because I'm going to pull up my planner now, but this is just an example of something that I wanted to show you. All right, so here is my webinar planner. So right off the bat, this is a brand new feature of Visual Planning 7. It's called a dashboard. So in addition to reporting and some other information that you might have stored inside of Visual Planning, we can bring it all together in one comprehensive view. So up here on the top, these top 4 tabs right here are favorite displays. So if you have a favorite display that you always go to, if you click on it, it'll bring you right there. And I'll show you how this is done after I finish explaining this out. We can have some workload information here. So here you see I have machine and workforce workloads, employee hours year to date. So we can have some calculations here, delayed tasks if you wanted to see some status information. And here, which is pretty cool, if I hover my mouse over this list of active jobs, it'll scroll down a list of every active event that's going on right now. And same thing with employee listing. Using HTML, we can make this look really nice with colors, and you can see here that we can upload actual employee pictures as their icons also. We can also here have some weather widgets. So in this example, we have 4 different widgets based on the locations that are going to be described in the planner coming up. But if you only have one location that you do business in, we can only have one here for you. That's no problem. Remaining budget, so we can obviously have some calculations being done in the background that can be displayed here, and then down here on the bottom we have some reporting capabilities. So we have hours by job, employee days work by job, and regular hours and overtime. And what's great is that we can move these around fairly easily. So say if you didn't like the layout of all this stuff, you just click and drag it over. You can make this look any way you want. And this version here is called the desktop. But we can also have a menu and a pane that's situated on the left-hand side of your screen so that you'd be able to see some information all the time. We picked the desktop mode for this webinar because you could see the most information here, but if you are interested in what the other methods look like, contact your sales engineer or the consultant assigned to your account. All right. All right, so I'm actually going to click on one of these favorite displays. I'm going to click on 04 Jobs Management, and I'm going to explain to you the story of this planner. So for this webinar, the story of this planner is that it's a retail change project management and construction division, okay? So here we have some stores and jobs up here we have some activities that are done within those jobs, and down here we have employees and equipment. So here we have some machines and some vehicles, all right? For those of you that are not fully familiar with how the level 1 and level 2 scheduling works, here we would take an activity, click and drag it down onto a job. Right now it's just set up to be 1 day's length in time, but if we wanted to stretch it out, we could just take the edge here, stretch it out to a few more days. And then if we wanted to assign, a few people to this job, what we can do is, we could take 1, 2, hold control to highlight them, and then hold control while you click and drag them over. And these 2 people are now assigned to this task within this job here, okay? So that's how the basic scheduling works. Again, if anyone has some more questions on how the scheduling works, I'm not really going to dive deep into that. There's some contact information if you're not already assigned to a sales engineer that you can contact us at, all right? Okay, so some other quick things that there is a refresh look here. If I double click on a menu here, you'll see that the menu options are now on the side here instead of up top. Another great thing is that we can zoom in on individual fields here. So say if I just wanted to zoom in on the job schedule, I can do that by clicking the plus sign, and then say for the employee schedule, say we wanted to zoom out or something, now that'll be zoomed out. So you can make some stuff pop up bigger, some stuff pop up smaller. So it gives you that extra customization piece, which is nice. One more thing, in some resource views here, if I can just click on this plus sign here and then add a new activity in this case. So again, instead of having to used to be able to have to do right click add, you can just click on this plus sign here and keep adding more activities if that's what you wanted to do. All right. As you see here, we have a vertical line timestamp. So this is representing the current day and time. This was a feature that a lot of you guys requested, so we made this happen in this update here. You know what? Let me go back to the input editor here, and I'm going to explain a few more things here. So now, if I click on Gantt, we can now have Gantt charts in input editors themselves now. All right, so this could be useful, if you have a lot of stuff going on over a long period of time. Here on the left-hand side, we just have start date, end date, and activity. But again, as most of you know, this information can be edited. All right. One more thing that I wanted to cover is there's a comments field now. So let me double click on Seattle Pines down here. So if you have multiple users and they're on multiple different devices, or even if they're just all on the PC, we can enable this comments field here where they can comment on an actual job or a work order, depending on what your planner is set up as, okay? But it's great because, if you want to just have some people chat about a certain, job or a work order, like I said, this would be a great way to do that. And we can also do it inside an event itself also. So let me scroll back here and I'll show you an example of that. So in this maintenance event here, let me go to default. Here we can have comments enabled on events themselves also, all right? One other thing that I wanted to mention, as this isn't a new feature, but as most of us are still working remote and getting back into the swing of things, or if you just have a lot of people that are working in external job locations around the country or around the world, this VP What's Up feature here could be useful. So these are some chat rooms that we can set up for you. If I double click on scheduling HR, this is just a quick example of a conversation that could be had. But if I click on the pencil here, what we can do is we can set up different users to be able to see different chat rooms. So if we didn't want Patrick to be able to be a part of this chat room, we can just click him off and then he won't be able to see it when he logs in, okay? If I go back here, we can have some company announcements. Again, this is kind of like an overall, chat room, but it can have, some or all of your users be able to see some information, and, it could definitely reinforce some information here. So in this example, they have a town hall coming up, so it could help reinforce any emails or any other internal communications that are going on within your company. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have here. Let me go back to the input editor here, because we have some new headings available. Before I get to those though, I want to show you here this average employee days. So for control columns, they used to only be able to give you a sum. Now they can give you an average. So for this example, it's taking the amount of employee days they are in this one job and averaging it out over time. All right, and then here is an example of one of the new headings that we have in Visual Planning 7. It's called concatenation. So what we can do is we can take values from different headings and combine them under this one concatenation heading here. So in this example, we have the store name, we have the job number, and we have the job manager, which is Brian Chen. This is just a quick example, but this could definitely help you out if you have a lot of data within your planner and you wanted to combine some things so you don't have to look at 3 or 4 different fields at once. All right. And one other new heading that we have here is called Summary of Events. So here it's summarizing all of the level 2 events. So all in this planner we have employees and the equipment, all the employee and equipment events that are within this one store job. Okay. And here, obviously, we have an event listing. So if you wanted to go to one of those events, you could just come here and double click on it like that. All right. While we're on summary of events here, I wanted to show you some email options here. Okay. So if I right click on an employee here, scroll down to Exchange, scroll down to Send Mail, I got a few email templates that I wanted to show you. So using the event summary, I just made this example here. Is pretty much a project breakdown of all the events that are happening throughout the job. So for example, say the job's over and you wanted a summary of all the events. Here we have the store name, what activity, who was working on it, and their start date and end date. But again, if you wanted to see more information, if you wanted to see exactly how long the days were, if you wanted to see some budget information, we can add that to the heading in the settings for you, okay? And again, this can be triggered on a status. So once you hit complete, this could automatically be triggered email to someone, or you can trigger it manually, just like I'm showing you now here. Also, what we can do here, if I go back here, if I go to new assignment, and this could also be helpful for those that aren't using email right now through visual planning. This could definitely help you out. So here is an example of a new assignment email. So for Shayna, she's been assigned to work on the Soho new store project. Her activity is maintenance, starts on the 12th, ends on the 14th, and we can customize this information here. And using HTML, we can have some colors, we can bold some stuff up to make it look a little bit more enticing and exciting too also, okay? One other thing that I wanted to show you was, give me one second here. Along with the email, what we can do here is we can have public post. And I'm not sure if a lot of you are familiar with what public post is, but it's sort of like an email, but using Microsoft Word, we can create templates where then you would be able to make PDFs of some certain information. So here I have an example of what that might look like. And with Adrian's help here, just give me a second to drag this over onto my screen. With Adrian's help here, we were able to come up with this example here using the visual planning header and footer. So if you wanted to, swap this out for your own header and footer, if I scroll down here, you can do so. But it's kind of pretty much a professional document that, if you wanted an employee to be able to print and have on a job site, or print for their own references, this could definitely be useful for you as well. So here we have Saviero. The job is Hamptons Commons, and that's the job number. We have activity and date information here, and we also have down here reminder. So we can track some certifications here. So once this certification is expiration date is coming up, we can have either an email triggered, or we can have this public post created, telling him to recertify. Okay. All right. So let me close this out here. I'm gonna hit OK and go back here. All right, let me see what else we have here. Linking events. All right, so I have one linked event down here. And for those of you that work with linked events a lot, this could be very, very useful. So if I highlight both of these linked events here, and I right click, and I go to links, I can select all of the links. So if you're using a lot of links within your project, if it's determined on pretty much how your business runs, this can be very useful. And for those that do not know how links work, what I can do here is I can create a link between events. So say that I created a link between this survey and renovation event. If I move this maintenance event here, let me say I move it up a couple of days, the rest of the events will then respect the space in between and then push back, okay? So again, this could be very useful for many different types of industries. I know in the production field, a lot of you guys are using it. So that could definitely help you out with that selecting all the new links feature. All right. Moving on. One of the other new headings that we have here are cascading single choice lists, and we can have these related to one another here. Okay, so here I have some regions and states, but if I change it to the east, I have some states in the east here. If I change it, to the south, I have some states in the south here. So, and we can, in the settings, go in there and then set up the relationship between this cascading single choice list and this single choice list as well. So again, it could be useful for, sorting some information. We can also, here I have it sorted by region, but if you had a lot of, different jobs going on, we could sort it by region and state. And could be a good way for you to, just organize your information a little more. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we have going on here. Oh, so one more thing I wanted to mention too is that I know some of you guys are doing integrations, but for those of you that are not, what we can do is that through our API, or if you had a database that we can link up with, we can set up an integration where all of these jobs and job numbers, it could even be, if you had all this information in another place, we can pull it from that other piece of software or that database, and we can have it trigger here, on, let's say, every 5 minutes, every half an hour, every hour, where any changes that were made in that other piece of software would then be uploaded and changed in visual planning. So I know a lot of you guys use ERP systems. Some people just use databases for regular data. Anything for work orders as well. We have a lot of people in the production industry that use third-party softwares to pull the work orders that are created in another piece and have it, show up in here. And we can do the same thing with employees as well. So, say you have, Sage, or you have SAP, or, any other ERP, and you wanted to have some of that information, pulled over into here, we could do that. And, depending on what the third-party software is, we could set up a two-way communication as well. So, say, you wanted the job to start in the third-party software. It starts, it gets created in here. You can assign employees. You can, set up some other fields, some calculations. You can enter in some information here, and then have all the information once the job is complete to be transferred over back into that third-party software. So that's just one thing that I wanted to stress before we move on. And while we're on this too, is I'm not sure if all of you guys know, but we can, to some extent, do some automatic scheduling as well. So using our import and export feature, and again, if this is something that you're interested in, please contact the consultant or the sales engineer assigned to your account. But what we could do, in some cases is, once you drag this down, depending on what's going on in the background, it could automatically assign some employees to that. But again, just to let you know that yes, we can do it, but we would have to know all the rules, and you would have to, again, contact your sales engineer assigned to your account and your consultant as well. So if you have any questions on that, those would be the people to go to. All right. All right, moving on here. So let me go to my little display tab here. Let me go over to this new, brand new feature for Visual Planning 7 called Blueprint. So this is my sixth display here. So this is brand new, and we have three different views here. And starting off, I want to focus on this picture here. So I'm just going to double click here to full screen this. So what Blueprint is we could take a PDF or a PNG or a picture file. It could be actual blueprints. It could be a map, depending on what your business is. And using a little drawing tool, like I did here, you can square out or block out different zones and then associate different resources to these zones. So for this case, because this is a retail chain's construction and project management wing, for our Soho store, it's a brand new store construction. So as you see here, if I hover my mouse over front end sales floor, you see that Shane is assigned there. Bennett and Chris are assigned to entrance 2 sales floor. And back in sales floor, we have Andrea. All right. And there's no limit to the amount of resources that can be assigned here. So, if you have 50 employees, if you have 100 employees, if you have 300 employees, you can, this would be a great way to be able to manage and see, okay, well, I have 10 people here, I have 20 people there. This is, we have Andrea here and some other people over here. All right, let me minimize this here, and I could show you how to assign someone to this. All right, so let's say that we wanted to assign Melanie to a specific zone. If I click on this little blueprint icon here, and let's say you want to assign her to the sales floor. Click on front end sales floor. You'll see that it's highlighted. I click on OK. You'll see here Blueprint Soho front end sales floor. I click OK again, and you'll see here that now she is assigned to that zone. So if I come back over here, and refresh the display, forgot to do that. You'll see that she'll be here now. All right. So the only other view that I have here is just a list of events of all of the events that are associated with this one Soho job here. But again, as you guys know, we could change some views around. If you wanted to have this over here, if you wanted to have this a little bigger, we can definitely change it around for you. But if you have an idea of an example of something that could work using the blueprint, like I said, whether that be an actual blueprint or a map or pictures of buildings, please get with your sales engineer or the consultant assigned to your account, and they can do a one-on-one demonstration of what this can do for you in your own planner. Okay. All right. A couple more things. Let me go back to my jobs management here. There are some new search features here. So if I click here and go to quick search, we could have a quick search function. So if you have hundreds of different activities here, you could search by there. And then if I go to search here, let me just search by name. Say I wanted to search my Jersey Commons store. I hit apply. What I can do now is there's a previous search button. So if I'm searching a bunch of things at once, I click on previous search, it'll restore it to what it was before. And based on the search, we can create a filter based on the information that is within that search. All right. So again, just saving you time with the different filters, with the different searches. For those of you that don't know how to access filters, if I just right click here, we have a whole bunch of event-based and resource-based filters here that we can filter by there, or we can filter by selection. If we right click here, go on filter the selection just to filter out one store in this case. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to cover in the client side here. I'm now going to go ahead and go over to the portal version. So I'm going to bring that up here. And let me refresh here. And for those of you that aren't aware, the portal version is our web-based version of the software, where you need to have at least one license of the client version to run the portal. But a lot of current clients use this for a bunch of different things. It could be for employees to access the schedule. It could be for managers to access or view or edit information if they're away from their work PCs. And it could be CEOs or VPs just to be able to view quick reports and then log out. Okay. I would like to mention though that for the portal, I did say that you can use it on a tablet. If you're using an iPad, it is recommended to use Google Chrome instead of Safari. Okay. So here I logged into this portal here, and I have 6 different views here. All right. The first is being the dashboard. So like I showed you in the client version, we can have a personalized dashboard based on the employee in this case, or it can be of all company information. Because a lot of current clients use this for employees to log on or managers to log on. For this case, I have Neon Jing's job here. So this is kind of like her own personal portal here. So we have the weather of her job site. We have her job information with budget information here. We have some project events here. If I scroll down, these are all the events going on within her job, some machine hours. And then down here, we have some overall company information. So, you can mix and match if you wanted to have, in this case, some overall company information along with some specific job information as well. You can customize it all. Okay. And again, this is brand new to not only the client, but the portal itself as well. And they are very easy to customize and configure. All right. Let me go to my second tab here, project overview. And for those of you that do have the portal, you'll see right away that we can now have these resource lists combined in with the schedule. We used to not be able to have that happen, but now we can. One other quick thing here that you see on the schedule is you see these little numbers here on the end of the duration bars. And what that means is that those are visual cues for child events. So for this renovation job at Jubilee Square, there are two children events. Now that could be 2 employee events. It could be an employee and a piece of equipment. So depending on what children events you have going on in your planner, it's a good way to represent how many other resources are devoted to this one task. Okay. If I go to activities list here, I just want to show you that because we have these resource lists here now, what we can do here is we can actually schedule from here. So say I wanted to schedule a survey task, right? We'll click and drag it over. Let's say it's going to be Napa store. Hit OK. Here we have the job manager, the address, the geolocation coordinates, and let's say it's going to take a couple of days, so we'll make it to the 6th. Hit OK. and now it's on the schedule. And again, any changes that are made here on this will reflect in real time in the client version as well. Okay, so say you're a manager and you make this quick change at midnight, because I know a lot of you guys are pulling long hours. The next morning when you log in your client version, you'll see these changes made. Okay, and they're made in real time, so it could be instantaneous. Where if I go to pull it up on the client version right now, you'll see that this activity was scheduled. Okay. One other thing that I wanted to mention here is that filtering. So if I click on the gear here, if I click here, you can filter by store. So these are all of my stores here, but as I click through, we can filter out by store. And by using permissions, we can only have certain users only see certain information. So if you were, the job manager for Seattle Pines, so in this case, Neon Jing, when you log on to this screen, you can only see, we can have it set up so you can only see the events that are going on within your job, okay? We can also have it shown by working week, week, and day. So if you schedule hourly events, that could be also a great way to show you what's going on within those timeframes. But here by month, if I wanted to cycle through by the month, we could just do so by clicking on these arrows here. Okay. All right. So let me go to employees agenda here, and let me bring it to everyone here. So here are a list of all of our employee events that are going on within the month of May. All right, but again, if I wanted to filter out by one person, you could just click on one person here and only their own schedule will be seen. Here we have a list of absences on the right-hand side. So again, if you wanted to have her be able to schedule an absence, click and drag it over. We could put in a note here, say it's going to be a wedding, hit OK, and it's on the schedule. Now, I know a lot of you too also have some absence approval systems. That is also something that we can enable for those of you that don't have the portal. So here, Krista requested a PTO. We can then have a field shown up in the client version that shows all pending PTO or absence requests. And from there, you'd be able to either approve or deny that, and they would be able to see it in here inside the duration bar if it was actually approved or not. And for more details on that, like I said before, you can get with your sales engineer, and he could show you a quick demo if you're interested in that, okay? All right, moving on, project planner here. So a couple other new features in the portal now is that we can have resource rows in the schedule. So this is pretty much mimicking the source schedule that I have in the client version here. And you'll see down here that we have some overall workload information here as well, okay? So this is gonna be overall machine workload, overall workforce workload by day here, okay? This used to not be able to happen in the portal before. And for those of you that don't know, you can double click on these events and edit. So if you wanted to edit any of this information here, you can do so. Same thing for over here. If you wanted to edit some job information, we can allow some users to be able to have that ability, okay? All right, moving on here. Let me go to Kanban. So this is another brand new feature of the portal here. So here we have all of our employees that are under the position of crew in a Kanban chart. So what I wanted to show real quick is that this could be useful for swapping shifts or making some quick changes on the fly if you're away from your work PC. So let's say that we wanted to swap one of these shifts out to somewhere else. So let's say we wanted to swap this shift over here. Let's see if it's available. Nope. So if we have a constraint set in the client version, the constraint will be set here. So here, this employee is already assigned to another project and not available. Do you want to continue? You just press cancel, and then it won't be on the schedule, okay? But let's say that they are available. If I click and drag this over, oh, he's still not available. We can make quick shifts here, quick swaps here between shifts, and it would be a great way to make quick shifts, quick changes on the fly. And we can also filter again by clicking on the gear here if you had a bunch of different, many more employees here, all right? Reporting, so some new reporting capabilities within the portal here too. And we can have multiple reports on one view here. So I have activities by week here, and you can see here that it is a little bit interactive here. So as I go over these points, different information will show here. If I click on the gear again, we have employee and store information. So we have employee days by store in a pie chart here, and then back to the employee days histogram here. And just so you know, any of these reports can be printed here. So if we wanted to print this report, it's easy as just clicking on the printer icon, and then you can print from here. And it is pretty visually pleasing. And again, we can customize some colors, if to your exact liking. So that could definitely be a game changer for your business. One more thing before I conclude the portal version here. I'll click on the VP What's Up feature, like I've shown you in the client version. This can here be accessed from the portal. Okay, so if you had some portal users to be part of these chat rooms, we can definitely enable that for you as well. All right. All right, cool. So that concludes the portal version of the webinar. The only other thing I wanted to go over were the changes to VP Go. So just be patient with me for 1 second, and I'm going to switch over to my phone right now. All right, so I'm just bringing VP Go up on my screen here. All right, great. So for those of you that do not have VP Go, this is our mobile application, and it's pretty similar to the portal, but it's, obviously you use it on your phone instead of a web browser or a tablet. For those of you that have VP Go, you'll notice right away that we have some changes. So we have some contextual tiles here where you can upload custom images to these tiles. So in this example, I uploaded the visual planning logo to the employee agenda tile, a spyglass to the project schedule tile, and to the project report tile, we just have a little checklist with a little clock there. You'll see down on the bottom here that the VP What's Up is also available here on the VP What's Up little tab here. All right, going in here, let me go to employee agenda, and I'll go over some quick changes that we have here. All right. So what this is here for those of you that don't have VP Go. These are all of the events, and as you'll see here, June 16th is highlighted. So as I click through the days here, the events will change depending on what the day is. Now, if you wanted just one employee to see their own schedule, we can click on one employee, and then it would filter out just to have their own schedule. Okay. One other thing that I wanted to show you here too is if I click on here on the event and tap on here, there's some information that we can input here inside of this task here. So it has some start date, end date information. But one of the new features here is if I go to tool here, I wanted to show you something pretty cool. So just give me 1 second here to set it up. So you'll see here that I only have about 6 or 7 capabilities for drop-down menus here. But say if your business had hundreds of different tools that you could assign to a certain employee on the job, what you can do is you can hit the little QR code icon next to it. So let's say that I wanted to change this to an IT setup kit. I'm going to hit the little QR code icon here, and if I position it correctly, it's going to scan that, and now it changed it to IT setup kit. So again, if you had QR codes that were fixed onto a certain tool or a certain piece of equipment, we could set this up within the VP Go app to make not only your life easier, but the person on the job's life easier as well. All right. One other thing that current VP Go users will notice is that we have breadcrumbs enabled now. So as you look up top, you could see one employee agenda with the little pencil mark. So we have some breadcrumbs available now, that makes it easier to navigate. I'm going to hit validate here. And one other thing that I wanted to mention here, this one isn't completely brand new, but what we can do is we can have a My Clock-In location set up, where if I hit this little target symbol, if you wanted to have employees to be able to clock in when they got to a certain location, you can do so by hitting that. I hit the 3 dots, and then I hit the check mark here, and then all this information will be uploaded to the client side in visual planning. Now, one thing I did want to mention as well is that we do have an automatic check-in feature that can be enabled, where let's say that you could set it up where it would be the parameters would be 1 mile. So if your employee is not 1 mile within the zone of the geolocation coordinates that's stored within the job, it will not let him sign in. So it won't let him cheat the system. Not that I'm saying everyone would, but you never know. All right. So from this screen here, for those of you that do not know about it, if I hit the add symbol here, change the absence. Let's say I want to have Andrea request a PTO day off again on the 17th. I think she's working. Yep. So again, another example of the constraint here. So we'd go back here. Let's say I want to do it on the 24th. PTO validate, hit the 3 dots, hit the check mark, and you'll see that it'll be on the schedule now. Okay. All right, a few more things I wanted to share before we go back into the PowerPoint is project schedule. If I click on that, this is going to be an overall, in this case, a store view, but could be a great way for managers to have access to this. So it shows what's going on in each of these stores and all the activities as I click through the days here. And again, if I click on the store itself, we can change some of this information around, and we say we wanted to change what the activity was, we can change it from there as well. So again, this could be a great way for managers to be able to make quick changes if they're on the road or not at their work PC itself. And if I hit the add button here, we can also add like we could on the portal itself here. So if I wanted to add an activity to a certain day, we can do so like that as well, okay? And the only other view I wanted to show you here was project report. We have this little search bar here. So say I wanted to search the Soho store here, I can just type that in, and then this is where my Soho store budget information lies. This is just an example of one report that we can provide here. Again, we can do many more, and we can have more than 3 tiles set up for you as well. Okay. All right, so that's going to conclude this version of the webinar, and I'm going to go back over to the PowerPoint right now. Just bearing with me 1 second here. All right. Okay. Just give me a second to full screen this. All right, so I just want to go over a few more slides before we open it up for questions. We have some special pricing offers now. So if you are interested in getting VP Portal and VP Go, we can combine 2 licenses and into one price and have it at a discounted rate. And if you are interested in what the pricing of these bundle plans are, please contact your sales engineer and he'll be able to offer some pricing for you. But as you see here, we have named and floating license bundles available. And we also do have a VP Desk, which was the client version, VP Portal, and VP Go combo as well. So if you are one user and wanted to be able to navigate across all different modes, you can do so at a discounted rate, okay? One more thing that I wanted to mention here is if you're not following us already, please follow us on all social media platforms. So here we have our LinkedIn, we have YouTube, and we have Twitter. I know on YouTube, we just dropped a video a few weeks ago about employee scheduling. So if you're new to visual planning and you're not very familiar with everything that I mentioned today, if you go on our YouTube, there is a video up there that's all about employee scheduling. So if your business is dependent on that, please go there and check it out. On LinkedIn, make sure to connect with not only the company itself, but make sure you connect with the consultant that's assigned to your project and the sales engineer too. We're all on there. Okay. And Twitter, we have some quick updates and some case studies that are posted throughout as well. And for those of you that don't have it, make sure to visit us at our website at visual-planning.com. All right. All right. It looks like I did pretty good on time because it's 2:40. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for questions. So, hey, Brian, you could take it away now.
Awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Bobby. Hey, everyone. As Bobby previously stated, my name is Brian Julo. I'm the U.S. Marketing Coordinator for STILOG Inc. I'll be facilitating the question and answer portion of today's webinar. I'd like to remind everyone in the chat, this segment of the webinar is timed, and we will answer as many questions as possible. In addition, any unanswered questions will be addressed in a follow-up email at the end of today's webinar. So to begin, we have a question from Steve, and they ask, does VP Desk support single sign-on?
It does support single sign-on. Adrian, do you want to take that to elaborate a little bit more? I guess maybe Adrian isn't with us currently. Yes, it does support single sign-on. And we'll get some more information over to you after the webinar, okay? All right, Brian, you can move on.
Cool. We have another question from Russell, sorry. Once you use a filter to filter results, how do you clear it?
Oh, cool. Yep, I'll show you that right now. So let's say I'll do both. So I'll do like a resource filter. So if I put a selection filter on here, so this would just be, based on what the activity is here. If I right click again and go to the filter activity and then go to all, you can restore it. Now you can also do the same thing as say I did it again and you forgot. If you just refresh the display without saving it, all that info will come back, okay? And it's the same thing with the resource filter also. So if I go here to a store, say I wanted to just, filter one thing. Actually, let me go to Soho. Yeah, so this is just the Soho store. I can either click back, hover over store and go to all, or refresh the display again, okay?
Awesome, great. We also have another question from Russell again, where he asks, is there a keyboard shortcut for switching between screens, like i.e. Activity calendar and reports?
So switching displays. So there is not, but what you could do if you have enough licenses is you could using VP Desk. So if I bring VP Desk up again, I could open up another version of the planner itself. So that could be a good way just to go back and forth between two different views. At this time, I don't believe that there is a shortcut. Again, I can get clarification from Adrian on that, but I think that the best way to do that going forward would be open up another link to the planner if you have enough licenses.
Definitely. Here we have Tyler.
Yes, Bobby, I'm here. This is Adrian.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, actually, we don't have. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Currently, we do not have the shortcut, but that being said, we can always request it as a new feature for the future version. So we'll definitely write it down and we'll provide it to the developers.
Okay, cool. And the single sign-on, did you have anything to add to that response that I had before?
Yes, so single sign-on works with VP Desk. The only difference is that basically we need to use SAML 2.0, but it works with SSO and VP Desk.
All right, great.
Great. I'm loving these questions. Right now we have Tyler, and he asked, what about so he says, we now have a rotating schedule due to COVID-19. Is there a way to map out our office desk using the new VP blueprint feature so we know not to have employees coming in and out through close proximities?
Yes, and actually, we've actually had some prospects contact us about this. So what we can do here is I have the blueprint view up again. Is that if you had a map of your office, what you can do is you could map out these zones here, and let's say that we could create one zone here. So this could be the east wing or something like that, and you can assign certain associates to this and say that this could be your Monday, Wednesday, Friday zone. So if you did that and assign these people to it, when you hover your mouse over, you'd be like, okay, so these people are going to be coming in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday here, and then you can also have another blueprint created that could show you Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. I believe that that's pretty much it there. Adrian, you have anything else to add? Because I know this is a brand new feature. No? Okay. All right, Brian, you can go ahead.
Great. We have here, will this webinar be available to rewatch after today?
Yes, so everyone's gonna be getting a link to the recording. It should be tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be by Monday. So you'll just get a link in your email, and you just have to enter in your contact information, and then it will be there for you to view.
Awesome. Currently in VP6, in the place of username UUID is updated. Any changes made in VP7 where UUID can be replaced with a username?
I can take it.
Thank you.
So yeah, the UUID is a basically database built in visual planning, and no changes were made to VP7 in comparison to what we had back in VP6. So UID still will work, unfortunately, exactly the same way as it was before. So like for this specific request, I don't think we can do anything, but again, we can keep the conversation open. After the webinar, we can definitely touch base on it and see if maybe we can do any kind of a workaround. But as far as the UID, it works exactly the same as in version 6.
Great. Including any changes, time, location from VP server, will it notify workers on the VP Go?
So in VPGo, we have this option called VPGo push notification. So it works pretty much as every single other notification you have on your phone. So whenever there is a change in, for example, activity for an employee, we can send a push notification to their phone. Over here, just to remember, we need to have the named license. VP push notifications don't work with floating licenses, so it has to be a named license, and this way we can send a push notification. Other than that, we can use a default features like, for example, email or text message. This is out of the box, and over here we have no restrictions, but as far as VP Go, we have this VP Go push notification that can be used for that purpose as well.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, Brian, just let me piggyback off that for a second. So I know a lot of people use push notifications for, as soon as an employee is assigned to a job, it could be any changes made also. So we can do it upon event creation or modification, as you see here in the settings, and that would all be set up by the consultant. So again, if you guys have any ideas of push notifications that you may want that you don't currently have, you can contact your consultants or your sales engineer for more information.
Here we have, what is the best way to display schedule on a big monitor? Say a overall weekly employee view on a screen in the lunchroom.
Okay, so what we would do there, so here I kind of have something here. So what we can do is we can just get rid of these absences here. And let's say you didn't want to have the workload shown either, right? So what we can do here is if I go on the display settings and then go to workloads, I can take them off. And right now I'm using a 55-inch screen right here. But say that you wanted to see more information here, we could zoom out a little bit. So now you could see every single employee. We can also, if you wanted to stretch out some info, so you didn't want to see as many days, we have the capability to use. If I go to the left, you could see more. If I go to the right, you could see less days, but you'd be able to see more information. So this would probably be the best way, I would say, to set it up. And a lot of our current clients will do that. So whether it be an employee schedule or it could be a shop floor, I know a lot of people use it for shop floors where they'll buy one read-only license and they'll just have this screen up on a monitor, and any changes that are made to the schedule will be shown here in real time, based on the refresh settings here. But yeah, like I said before, it's a great way to inform people of their schedule, or it could be, like I said before, it could be, what's going on the shop floor, different assignments that are going on as well. So there's a bunch of different ways we can do that.
Great. On the VP Go, when you change the activities for a worker in the field, will it notify the worker in the field in some way, or do they have to back up and go back to refresh their schedule?
So if push notifications are enabled, that's how they would know. If push notifications are not enabled, then yeah, the only way they would be able to tell is if they were to, go back or log out of VPGo and log back in. So in that case, I would recommend push notifications being enabled.
Great. We also have a few more minutes, so I'm just going to answer a couple more questions.
Cool.
Will there be multiple monitor support?
Adrian, you want to take that one?
It was 4K monitor support. Can you repeat, Brian?
Will there be multiple monitor support?
Oh, multiple monitor support.
Yes.
As far as this version, there's no specific feature or new type of a display that can be used basically on multiple monitors. I would go back to the same answer that we provided before, that if this is something that is really needed, we can always add it to the request for the developers. Like right now, the only thing I can think of would be to open up 2 visual plannings, but obviously you would need 2 separate licenses to do so.
Awesome.
Right. And yeah, one more thing I wanted to piggyback off of the VPGo question we had before is that we can also have them notified by email or text message as well. And for that, you wouldn't need to have a separate license for it.
Great. In the table view of a dimension, is it possible to filter sort on a control when we right-click?
Yeah, you know what? I think, let me go to reporting here. I think I have something here. So in a table view to sort, yeah, so we could sort by column here. I think that answers the question. What else was the towards the end there they had to say?
I believe it says sort and control columns.
So by control columns, yeah, I mean, as long as that information is here in a table format, you could sort it. So like I had, if I added the average, if I double click on here. So yeah, if I added this average employee days field to this table, then we could sort by it, yes.
Awesome. We have a two-part question over here. Can we integrate key performance indicators of security officers in VP? And also, if VP6 is upgraded to VP7, does mobile apps of VP6 automatically upgrade to VP7?
Okay, so that's a great question. I'm going to take the second part of that first. And then the first part I'll hand off to Adrian. So if you are a VPGo user and you're currently using VPGo, you do need to download a new application. So it's called VPGo 7. And again, it's available on the App Store and the Google Play Store. But the only thing that they'll have to do is once they download it is you would need the link to be able to scan it with a QR code. And if you don't have that on hand, if you contact the consultant assigned to your job, he should have that QR code for you. And then all they're going to have to do is just scan the QR code with their phone, and then it'll be uploaded into the VPGo 7 app. And then everything else will be exactly the same. They won't have to do anything else to change anything else around. Yeah, and as for the first question, the first part of that question, could you just repeat that again, just so I think Adrian has a better understanding of it?
Yeah,
I mean, I understand it, like about the KPI, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So can we integrate key performance indicators of security officers in VP7?
Yeah, so pretty much in this specific case, this is a particular need for that type of the configuration. But yes, we can build in a feature in visual planning that would represent the key performance indicators for the security officers or any type of another type of the resource. We just have to get a little bit more details on how exactly that information would be used in the system. If it would be just a view-only information, or for example, if it would have some kind of a consequences on, for example, I don't know, let's say pay, or for example, other types of assignments. But yes, it's a possibility. It would just have to be built with the other features inside of the system.
Great. And here we have our final question due to time. Is there an authentication with this new upgrade?
I think this is the question connected to the email notifications that we worked on with specific customer in the past. To my knowledge, it's not integrated yet. We can later on check with the developers, but to my knowledge, it's not available as right now for the mailing. If it's just for the logins, I think it's possible, but for the email setup, it's not available yet.
Awesome.
And yeah, Brian, one thing I want to mention too is that just because this is a brand new version, there will be updates to it throughout the upcoming months. So it is possible that some things that people are asking for that aren't available currently could happen in the next few months.
Got it. Great. That's awesome to hear. Well, I'm happy to see all these questions. And again, if anyone is interested in learning more about visual planning, don't forget to visit our website at www.visual-planning.com to learn more about our software scheduling solution. And also, this concludes this part of the webinar. So I'll be turning this back over to Bobby.
All right, great. Yeah, Brian, thank you so much for facilitating that portion here. Up on the screen here, I just wanted to, share our overall contact information. I know, most of you have your own sales engineer and consultant that are assigned to your account, but if you don't, and this is the first time that you're checking out visual planning, here's our overall company phone number, and you can email sales@stilog.com for any questions that you have. However, there will be someone reaching out to you. For those of you that are of your current clients, everyone that attended today, will reach out to you and be able to send you the link to the recording of the webinar and some other information for you to have on hand as well. All right, so without any further ado, that's going to conclude everything for today's webinar. And like I said, if anyone has any questions, please, contact the sales engineer or the consultant that is assigned to your account. And I hope that you guys had a great time being able to view this webinar and learn about all the new features of Visual Planning 7. And we'll hope to hear from you soon. All right, everyone. I'm going to end it now. Everyone have a great day.